Who would have thought a single image could stir so many emotions at once? One moment, it seemed like just another airport sighting, fan art maybe, or a candid moment. But as this photo hit social media like a storm, armies everywhere held their breath. Because this wasn't just a picture, it was a message, a mystery, a whole new wave of feelings bottled up in one frame. And at the center of it all, Taehyung and Jungkook together again, looking like they just walked out of a secret film set. Taehyung's appearance was anything but ordinary. Sporting a jet black knitted hat with two sharp peaks sticking out like mischievous horns, he looked like an animated character brought to life. It wasn't just cute, it was surreal. Was he making a bold fashion statement? Or was this yet another cryptic clue ARMY should decode? The hat itself instantly became a hot topic. And fans began to speculate wildly. Was it a teaser? A nod to something upcoming? A symbol of something deeper? Then there's Jungkook, dressed entirely in black, from his shirt to his mask to his iconic supreme beanie. He looked like the embodiment of mystery. Covered almost entirely, his piercing eyes were the only thing visible. And that was more than enough to send fans spiraling. His gaze wasn't just intense, it carried something heavier. Tiredness, emotion, or perhaps something he couldn't express in words. What's going on with Jungkook? Is he okay? That question echoed across platforms. His eyes looked worn, almost fragile, and yet grounded. Was it exhaustion from overwork? Hidden stress? Or was he simply lost in thought in that moment? The truth remains unknown. But what's undeniable is the emotional grip this photo has had on ARMY. And then there's the positioning, the unmissable fact that these two appeared together, in sync. Their outfits both dark and mysterious. Their presence charged. It's been a while since Taehyung appeared in the same frame so directly, so why now? Why this moment? Naturally, theories erupted. Some believe this was carefully planned. Others are sure it's a coincidence. But in the world of BTS and ARMY, very few things ever feel accidental. Could this be a sign of an upcoming project? A shared schedule? Or was it simply fate pushing them into the same lens once again? As expected, fans flooded social media with passionate reactions. Taehyung's hat is insane. He looks unreal. Jungkook's eyes. Something's different. I feel it. This looks like a scene from a movie. What are they hiding? ARMY is not okay after this photo drop. Why do they look so connected even without speaking? More than just fashion, the photo captured an energy, something that can't be described, only felt. A quiet electricity that hums between them even when words are absent. A look, a glance, a shared space. That's all it takes to remind ARMY why Taehyung moments are so special. And let's talk about the symbolism. The black outfits, the covered faces, the quiet, intense stares. Was it a shield from the world or an open invitation to look deeper? Fans are already digging through past moments, matching outfits, analyzing the expressions, searching for clues they might have missed. Even if this was just a fleeting moment at the airport, the emotional impact it left was monumental. After so many days of silence, this photo reignited the fire in Taehyung supporters everywhere. Some called it fate, others called it destiny. Either way, it shook the fandom to its core. But perhaps the real question isn't what they wore or how they looked. It's why now? Why step into the spotlight again like this? Was it intentional? Or is the universe simply reminding us of the bond that still lingers? Strong, silent, and impossible to ignore? And what about the emotions hiding behind Jungkook's eyes? Or the boldness in Taehyung's fashion choice? Was this merely an expression of style? Or were they trying to say something through silence? We may never know the full story behind this image. But for ARMY, it's more than enough. It's a spark, a reminder, a moment frozen in time that speaks louder than 1,000 interviews. In just one picture, Taehyung reminded the world why their presence together always causes a storm. So what do you think? Coincidence or message? Let us know in the comments. Because if there's one thing we've learned from Taehyung and Jungkook, it's that even silence can scream louder than words. But just when fans thought it couldn't get more intense, more piercing, more emotionally rattling, some eagle-eyed, ARMYs pointed out something chilling. The way Jungkook's fingers subtly pointed toward the camera. Not aggressively, not boldly, but just enough to spark theories. Was it an accidental pose? Or was it his silent way of saying, "We see you too"? The idea that this photo might have been taken at just the right moment, while both of them were in full awareness, began spreading like wildfire. The internet flooded with slowed-down edits, emotional background music, zoom-ins of their eyes, and breakdowns of every pixel of their outfits. It wasn't just about seeing Taehyung again, it was about feeling their energy through one single image. And then came the speculation. Why does this feel like a teaser? Is this connected to a secret comeback? Wait, are they wearing coordinated airport fashion again? Like they used to in 2016, 2018? Something's going on. They're too quiet, and this photo screams everything they're not saying. The silence from HYBE only added fuel to the fire. No official schedules, no announced departures, no clarification. But this wasn't the kind of silence that fans feared. This was the kind of silence that trembled before a storm. Something big might be coming, and this image felt like the whisper before the roar. Let's not forget the emotions fans poured into this moment. Taehyung's outfit screamed creativity, rebellion against norms, that unapologetic uniqueness that only he can pull off. And Jungkook's aura, protective, dark, unreadable, was like watching a storm build inside a man who rarely lets his walls fall. What were they feeling in that moment? Some fans speculated that maybe Jungkook wasn't feeling his best. His eyes, though powerful, looked as though they carried a weight. Maybe exhaustion, maybe heartbreak, maybe just the toll of being human in a world that watches his every move. And next to him, Taehyung, steady, calm, glowing under that quirky hat, felt like an anchor, a friend, a constant presence. It's moments like this that remind armies why they fell in love with BTS, not just as artists, but as human beings. Because behind every mask, behind every viral outfit, behind every headline, there are 7 souls, each with their own storms and silences. And this frame, this moment in the hallway of an airport, it felt like one of those rare, raw snapshots that break through the glamour and land straight into your chest. For longtime Taehyung fans, this wasn't just another picture. It was confirmation. Not of a relationship, no one dares assume that, but of a connection, of a shared space, of 2 energies that, when together, stir something undeniable. There's no scientific way to explain the pull of Jikok moments. You don't need a theory. You feel it. And this photo? It was a feeling. It's wild how one photo can resurrect memories of past tours, fan signs, V-Lives, airport sightings, matching bracelets, exchanged glances when they thought no one noticed. And now this. A blink and you'll miss it. Moment that feels like the revival of everything armies have been missing. And then came the edits, the TikTok compilations, the fan art, the fan fiction, the whispered, they're back. So what happens now? Will there be another sighting? Is this the beginning of a quiet comeback? Or was this photo a rare gift dropped from the universe? An unspoken reminder that some bonds never fade. No matter how quiet things get. The truth? No one knows. But one thing is certain. The world won't stop watching. And as armies continue dissecting every inch of the photo, hoping for more, waiting for signs, one question remains. What were Taehyung and Jungkook really thinking in that exact moment? And what are they not telling us? Let's hear it from you, Army. What's your theory? Was this fate, a coincidence, or a carefully planted clue? Following the widespread circulation of the image, depicting BTS members Taehyung and Jungkook at an airport, both clad in dark minimalist attire and concealed behind masks, discourse within the army community has escalated into full-scale analysis, beyond the aesthetic intrigue of Taehyung's eccentric knitted headwear and Jungkook's imposing all-black ensemble. The photograph has become the focal point of intense fan speculation and interpretive commentary. Observers have noted the rarity of such unanticipated public appearances, involving both idols simultaneously, particularly without any corresponding official schedule or event announcement from HYBE. This absence of context has given rise to conjecture ranging from a covert project in development to a symbolic gesture intended to reassert the persistent relevance of the Taehyung pairing, which has long held significant cultural weight among segments of the fandom. From a fashion analysis standpoint, the visual dichotomy present in the image, Taehyung's avant-garde, whimsical headwear contrasted with Jungkook's sleek, utilitarian streetwear, reinforces their individualistic branding strategies, while simultaneously emphasizing their visual synchronicity when seen in tandem. The juxtaposition seems curated, whether intentionally or not. and has intensified interpretations surrounding their shared aesthetic direction and mutual public alignment. Psychologically, particular attention has been drawn to Jungkook's gaze, partially obscured yet penetrating, which some fans interpret as indicative of emotional fatigue or internal reflection. Taehyung, on the other hand, appears serene, almost detached, lending further complexity to the scene. The duality between the two, calmness versus veiled intensity, has amplified narrative theories positing this encounter as a deliberate expression of their evolving public personas. Social media data reveals a surge in related content, with the image spawning thousands of digital edits, interpretative fan art, and emotionally charged video montages. Engagement metrics across platforms such as Twitter, X, TikTok, and Instagram indicate a viral resonance that surpasses standard airport sightings, positioning this moment as a cultural event within the global BTS discourse. Moreover, the ambiguity surrounding the context of their appearance, no recorded flight logs, no sighting of additional staff, no linkage to commercial endorsements, has elevated this incident from a passive media capture to a strategic anomaly. It remains unclear whether the timing and styling were coincidental or aligned with a larger, as yet undisclosed narrative arc orchestrated by their management. In summary, this isolated but high-impact moment has catalyzed renewed interest in the relational dynamics, branding alignment, and emotional states of two of BTS's most scrutinized members, as the fandom continues to deconstruct visual and symbolic elements within the image. And just when you think the buzz might fade, something unexpected begins to happen. Fans who had scrolled past the photo at first glance now find themselves coming back again and again, zooming in, analyzing every detail. The lighting, the background blur, the curve of Jungkook's brow, the exact knit pattern of Taehyung's surreal cat-eared beanie. It's as if the photo itself is alive, quietly, whispering secrets army is desperate to hear. At the heart of this viral explosion is one undeniable truth. Jungkook is magnetic. Always has been, always will be. Whether it's the natural chemistry they exude when they're merely standing near each other, or the way their stylistic choices seem to accidentally complement each other to perfection. They simply draw you in. This image, it isn't just a photograph. It's proof. Proof that even in the midst of a quiet season, even with military enlistment still looming or ongoing, even with solo activities pulling them in separate directions, Taehyung and Jungkook can dominate the internet in seconds without uttering a word. Some fans even began questioning whether this was part of a hidden campaign. Wait, is this a teaser drop for a CF? Why does this feel more choreographed than random? Are they working on something together again? Please tell me this is a sign! Because really, how often do we get both of them in the same frame these days? In the same setting, dressed in coordinated darkness, with an almost cinematic air around them? Not often. And when it does happen, the fandom feels it, deeply. Taehyung's fashion, always avant-garde, always unpredictable, has long been his way of speaking without speaking. From custom luxury pieces to vintage thrift shop gems, he curates his looks with a sense of poetic intention. And that strange beanie? It's not just a hat. It's a headline, a statement piece, a symbol of playfulness in a world that's constantly watching. Jungkook, in contrast, cloaks himself in mystery. With his head bowed slightly and face nearly hidden, his aesthetic screams, "Don't look at me," even as every army can't look away. And that, in itself, is what makes this image unforgettable. Because while Taehyung dazzles like moonlight, Jungkook broods like thunder, and together, they create a storm you can't ignore. And now the fandom's emotional roller coaster begins. There are tears, real ones. There are armies staying up all night, creating fan edits with emotional piano soundtracks. There are essays written on platforms like Weverse and Tumblr breaking down what this one image means. There are threads with timestamps, comparisons to old airport sightings, theories that date back years. Fans are even pulling out matching outfit, receipts from 2019, and screaming into their pillows with joy. And yet amid all this emotional chaos, there's one recurring thought. They're still connected, even after everything.